Hello and welcome back to my channel. So have you ever heard the story about the slave who saved Boston? Well, buckle up. We're going to talk about unforgotten man, a slave. His name was Onesimus. And essentially, he held the key for a deadly disease. What disease is that? Smallpox. Yeah, the disease that ravaged mankind for millennia. Well, in America, this gentleman played an important role in solving the problem. So what is smallpox? It's a deadly viral disease. Not like your common cold, not like the flu. Picture a disease that starts off with a rash, muscle pain, high fever, bone pain, then followed by pus pockets all over everywhere, leaving you totally disfigured. And that's if you don't die. At the time, the mortality rate was about 30%. And most of these people died from multi-organ failure, if not secondary infections by the pustules and the wounds on the open skin from smallpox. So this point in their story start off about 1721, and we're in Boston. It's bustling, wigs are high, tensions are high. How high? Paul Pierce, Larry Bird high. It was bad. And in April of that year, again, there was a smallpox outbreak. At this time in the story comes Cotton Mather's. He's a local minister in Boston, and his slave, Onesimus, who was a gift. What do you mean? Cotton Mather's congregation gave Onesimus as a slave. And of course, that wasn't his real name. He had an African name, but he was named after a slave in the Bible, and that name meant useful. And you'll find out actually how useful he was. So Mathers was a bit OCD. He jotted down everything. And one of the things he kept track of was a conversation he had with Onesimus, asking him about smallpox. Have you ever seen anything like this? Have you ever had smallpox? And he gave him a peculiar answer. He said yes and no. So intrigued, he asked him to tell him more. And he explained that he had an operation where the pus from the open wound was taken from one infected person and rubbed into and scraped into his skin. In fact, he went on to say in his home country in Africa, this was done all the time, and it helped to prevent anyone from dying of smallpox. And Mathers thought maybe this could be done in Boston. So he couldn't tweet, but what he did was he ran around and told all the local physicians about this pus method. Again, scraping pus from an infected person into the skin of healthy individuals. It didn't go over well. In fact, he was told it was ungodly. And I'm actually surprised they didn't burn him at the stake as a witch. Funny story, Mathers played a pivotal role in the Salem witch trials, but that's a story for a different day. Anyways, only one brave physician took him up on this and said maybe there is something. His name was Dr. Boylston. And so he talked to him, got the method, and he scraped, or what was now later called inoculation, inoculated 248 people. People thought he was crazy, and they came for him. But out of the 248 people that he inoculated, 242 lived. That's a survival rate of 85. So twice as many people lived after this method than before. So it took some time, but later this became a common practice. Now, how do you justify this? You can think of this in some strange way, maybe back in ancient times, where a king might drink some poison every day to build up an immunity to a later poisoning. And so the way inoculation is working is you're introducing a little bit of a virus or disease so that the body creates a better immune response. So what happened to Onesimus after all of this? Well, little is known. The last documentation is that he bought himself out of slavery. After that, kind of a mystery. There's speculation he married, had 3 kids, worked as a highway worker, but after that, no one knows what happened to him. He was free and he was left to history. However, in 2016, he was recognized by the city of Boston for one of the 100 most important Bostonians. So at least next time that you are in Boston, think of Onesimus and how he saved the American colonies.